Alright, I came across some other weird phenomenon on this PlayStation stuff. So I'm just kind of making this as sort of a documentary-ish type thing. And this controller just suddenly started working. But I feel like the D-pad doesn't work real well. We've got it open here. I kind of have to push on it a little hard. So it suddenly started working. I noticed that batteries were both good. Let's try this other battery. I was wondering also. Okay. So both batteries work. I'm wondering if there's like an issue on the board here. This is going to be a real pain to do, guys. But let's go ahead and do it anyway. I don't know about this battery holder thing here. I'm going to guess it probably snaps out. We need to pull the board to clean this thing. Alright, so there's a little clip here and there. I basically broke the clip here. This stuff's crappy ass delicate. Alright. Let's get this screw out of here. Both things in there good. Is that all that's holding this damn thing? Is one screw and it's not even in the middle? That's wild. Yep. It does appear that way, doesn't it? This is going to be a pain because I got to be really, really careful. We got these motors here. No, rumble motors, whatever you want to call them. Ah, man, this is... Oh, jeez. Yeah. Alright, we have the D-pad. And we have the sensor pad. This is just a whole lot of crap. Take that, set that aside over here. I'm wondering, just go like that. Nope. I have never done one of these before, so bear with me. This is all an assembly. I can see that this thing here is holding it up. Lots of fun. My main concern is I don't want to put that clip back in there if I don't have to, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to come in here with some tweezers. Pull that out, because without doing that, I don't think we're going to be successful. Like, we've got stuff falling out already. It's hanging up somewhere. Okay, I can see that. What do we got there? We get ribbons over there. Boy, what a pain. I don't know, is that clip still? Yeah, it looks like it's stuck in here. Okay. So even though I undid it, it kind of got stuck. There we go. Alright, so usually what I find is to clean these D-pads is pretty much the solution. On any of these type of controllers. So now's your chance to do a deep cleaning on this damn thing. Pretty crazy. So I'm going to clean this up and then we'll test it. Alright, so I was going to show you guys a little something. Don't mind the scanner in the background. This is all the nastiness coming off of here. But with these, I would not recommend using rubbing alcohol. I'm sure it's probably safe, but if these have a lot of wear on them, you see these little things here, they leave a pattern behind, and these have like a kind of a carbon coating, and it's conductive, but if you clean them too aggressively, you could end up removing part of it. Now, one thing with this one here, you probably can clock this in a different direction. But I would just use some cheap dish soap and get it clean and just gently wipe it with paper towel. And if you see anything black coming off, you know you're in trouble. But you can probably order these. So if you're really having a problem, I would just order a new set of these. If you're this far in there, just button it up and put it in a bag or something and order some of these. Unless it's the only controller. But you see here how these are shaped. So basically, I don't know about these ones here. They're all like the same size. You could probably swap if you really had to, but they're not shaped the same. So you see the marks that it's left in there. And then this one I thought had like a center, but maybe not. So if you put it in a different spot, the marks might be different. I'm trying to look at it. Yeah, so if I went like that. Those are both across. Maybe not. Nope, no matter what you do. So it doesn't really matter. You can't reclock it, but if you have one that's giving you more trouble by rotating it, it probably will change. It'll move to a different button. So, I don't know. Anyway, it's just my thoughts on it. I would clean it, put it back in there. Probably try and put it back exactly how it was. And see if it improves. But you can definitely order these. Then another thing, I'm not going to do it, but I have an ultrasonic cleaner. Pull these out and clean them in an ultrasonic cleaner. And, you know, make sure you get these back correctly. But anyway, so this is when you really want to get in here. I mean, you can pull all this out of here and clean it with a toothbrush and all that, or soak it in your sink, but I don't really, I don't want to get too crazy with it. I'm just trying to get the bulk of the crap off of it. You can kind of pull the buttons one at a time. These, not too bad. But you just take a rag and clean it, a paper towel and clean it. Like I said, I don't like to use rubbing alcohol because it can remove things. And some of these will be nastier than others. Alright, so we got everything cleaned on the controller. Just had to put this other button back in here. And Most of the buttons won't let you put them in wrong, but you can definitely get these ones flipped around. So what we need to do now is we need to get this part back in there. I hope this is not missing one of these pieces. You would think you would hear it rattling around, but it's a different amount of weight on the rumble motor. So let's make sure we got everything here. We've cleaned everything the best we could. We need to get this wire from that, I don't know what you call that pad, up in there. And then we're going to grab our tweezers and hold the back of this thing. And try and put it in there. I would highly recommend doing this first, in case you need to manipulate the board. Okay. I can't believe they only have one frickin' screw. That's crazy. It seems like, to me, a recipe for disaster. But anyway, they've made probably millions of these damn controllers. Okay. It looks really nice now that it's cleaned. Okay. So there was this D-pad that was giving us problems. So now we're probably going to lose this little tab here when we put this in here. Yeah, it doesn't even want to stay put over there. Let's see. It's funny because it was such a pain in the butt to get the damn thing out. Like, seriously? All right. We got that. Now, let's go ahead and plug this thing in. We'll test our battery over here. Doesn't seem to be working. Alright. Alright. I even snapped it back together. I didn't really want to do that at this point, but let me get the cord. It's just strange how that cord's plugged in. Okay. I don't really understand. Okay, there we go. So I think it's the PlayStation button that was actually having a problem. Alright. Still doesn't like to go that way. Really got to push on it. So it's pretty much dead right here. Don't want to do anything. I don't know. Let's go. Yeah, it's actually worse. So, I guess we'd have to look up those parts for this thing. It could be something else wrong with it too. Maybe the other part of it's worn out and not the other. But it's actually connected now, and it wasn't doing that before. And I think the PlayStation power button went bad. I'm holding down the PlayStation power button, and it's not doing anything. I had to really push on it. Let's see. I'm holding the PlayStation button. I'm putting a lot more pressure on it. I let go. Okay. So, you can attempt to try and do this. I mean, like, I got this thing at least now connecting. It wasn't connecting before. But, yeah, it's still got an issue with the D-pad. So, I don't know. I mean, it's worth trying. And I'm going to pull it out and reclock it again. So what I wanted to do was shut it down and then see if this can actually turn it on. I thought these could be completely off, is what I thought. Let's go turn it on and see what it does. See, this thing doesn't... There we go. So yeah, it definitely had a bad PlayStation button. Okay. So we were able to fix that part, but not the D-pad. You could still use this controller, but I mean, it's just kind of worn out. Okay. Now let me come in here and hold down the PlayStation button again. It's not working real well. Why is it pulling up that? LT1 to left end. Interesting. Okay. So it depends on what menu it's in. Let's just put it in rest mode and see if it can wake it up. Okay. So cool. It worked. Nice. Okay. So let's open this thing back up. I'm going to turn it off, but let me see here. Apparently I have to come in here and Why can't I just hold it down? I don't understand that. Okay. I thought at any time you could just hold down this button. Come on. If I really push on this, it'll go. I mean, I really got to push on it. So, all right. For whatever reason. Okay. So we should be able to pop this open a lot easier than before. Right here is where they're really a pain. You can almost look down in there and see it. It is not the easiest, but I think it's easier than an Xbox controller. Those Xbox controllers are a pain in the ass. And then we gotta get the other to pop right here. I don't like that noise. And what happened is I pulled the button off with it. So that can happen. I'll just remove it. Just pull the battery. Alright, let's get this thing back in here. Well, that doesn't feel right. Alright, let me see here. There we go. I thought I had it. Yeah, I don't want to do that too many times. Alright, now we can actually just leave that right there. The battery part ain't gonna matter. And I gotta pull the fancy touchpad thingy. And then you gotta tuck it down in there because it's gonna want to hang up. It'll lift up on it. Tuck that thing down in there. And then. Put that there. Okay. D-pad. I put the D-pad exactly how it was. So it's this one right here. You can rub it with something. And it may bring it back. So I think a big part of the problem with this one is where this thing sits. It's kind of, I don't know, it's sort of not completely flat. And so what I'm going to try and do is a little kind of technique of like rubbing this back and forth like that to kind of burnish it a little bit. Let's see if that helps. All right, we got it back together. Let's zoom out of here. We got a really bright light coming in here. I wish these neighbors would shut up. So we're just going to boot the PlayStation and see if we can get it to connect. I don't want to plug the rest of the controller in because I had it working without doing that before. Now we won't really know if it's on because it's not plugged in into the other part. All right. Doesn't look like it. I don't think it's going to work this way. I don't know how the hell I got it to work like that before. But doesn't look like it. Alright, so no matter what I do, the PlayStation button doesn't work now. Alright, we're going to try this again. Maybe that'll bring it back. There's a little bit coming off of some of these. So, but I think if this doesn't work, I think it's basically, I don't know, junk maybe? I don't know, can you replace these parts? I don't know what goes on the bottom of the board here, but I think that these ribbons are actually soldered near the edge here. And so I don't think they can be replaced. So it appears it just turned it on. I think you have to have that other touchpad hooked up. I don't think it works without it. I'm just learning this by trial and error. But anyway, I reassembled it. Button worked pretty easy. Very limited on the D-pad. If I hold it down, it's a little better than it was. It's definitely worn out. It is, this controller here is basically not great, okay? But in fact, now it's not responding. There we go. So I basically cleaned it a few times and it's working better than it was. It wasn't working at all before. That's kind of where we're at with it. And it's basically, I don't know, how do I put this? It's good enough to use as like a emergency backup or something like that. Other than that, like, it's basically parts because it needs work. I don't know if you can replace the pads. I don't know if the pads are going to solve the complete issue, because if the flexible part is bad, then it won't matter. But anyway, I'm just kind of doing a deep dive here without any script of any kind, and just trying to see if I can get this thing working and documenting it as I go along. So, I don't think I left anything out here. Basically, we're just going to plug the rest of this back in real careful. I'm going to do it while it's on. I don't really care. The ribbon cables are, in my opinion, the biggest pain in the ass, but everything else is like not too hard. So when you get it back in here, you got to kind of go like that and then force it over it. Just make sure you got it like that in the front. If it doesn't want to go, don't force it once you got it to this point. Well, you should see all the nastiness that came off of this thing. I mean, it's definitely been used a lot. It doesn't look like it on the outside, but it's been used quite a bit. So, in reality, you can see right here, that's a lot of wear. I don't know if that's a natural smooth spot on these. I think it is. Let's see. Nope. Not on that one, at least. Let me look at the other one. Well, the other one has the same mark, but these came from the same person, so I don't know. But, let's see here. I mean, you got, this part works for everything. So if you don't use the D-pad, I think some people don't even use the D-pad. Now the D-pad's not working at all. Boy, it's really touchy. It keeps giving an error down here because it says press enter. I think what's happening... Well, no, it won't work. Very, very, very touchy. But you might be able to fix this part, because that was like the most important thing for me, was that part didn't work. So you couldn't get it to connect. It's still a little iffy. If I hold it down, it doesn't necessarily do anything. Let me try it. One more thing. Let's put it in rest mode. And we'll let that thing sit there for a second. And we'll see if we can wake it up with a controller. Okay. There we go. But boy, I'm telling you, man, freaking touchy. Best thing I think to do is you just get a new controller. So, but anyway, it's fun to tear stuff apart and try and figure out why it doesn't work. I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching this lengthy video.